can see over here, we've got a banana on the screen. That's what we're all used to. Just a yellow fruit. It's got the skin. You peel the banana, you eat the banana. It's delicious. And then, you know, we feed them to kids. We make banana bread. We mush them up and feed them as baby food. You can see over here, we've got the young lad over there. He's had a bite of his banana. He's really happy. Bananas, they're great. We all love them. We all love them very much. And we're used to seeing stuff like this, you know, cute animals like this guy just going to town on a banana. Friggin' adorable. Nothing wrong with that, is there? We're all used to it. We love it. Now, if we just go to the next slide, what you'll see here is a lot of the health benefits that we've been told and you've learned about in school, in your science classes and health education and things like that, that there's all these benefits. Let's just go through them really quickly here. So you can reduce the risk of kidney stones. They'll improve your digestion, support heart health, fight anemia, lower blood pressure. That's important. Healthy bones over the other side with boosting brain power, keeping your skin healthy, which is ironic because bananas have skin, which is interesting, enhance nutrient absorption, and contain powerful antioxidants. So there's so many benefits to bananas that we're all taught about as part of a healthy, balanced diet. And they're always talking about it. You'll see it on the news. You hear it in school, in all of your books. Major part of the education. And even within pop culture, just recently, SpaceX were launching huge rockets into space and launching satellites for Wi-Fi, and they used it in the final experiment down in Antarctica. They recently used a banana as a 0G indicator in Starship. So while it was up in space, they had wires connected to it, just hanging out in the middle of the ship, painted a banana for scale, is what they called it. So a little cartoon banana on the side of a multi-billion-dollar rocket holding a banana. Obviously nothing nefarious about that, right? It's just a little joke. It's all fun and games. No problems there. And we've all seen him in movies. The Jungle Book, eating bananas. So there's Baloo and Mowgli. Mowgli's grabbing a banana off the vine there. King Louie eating your classic yellow banana. Even the man himself, Mickey Mouse, holding a banana. And Timon and Pumbaa, we saw them in The Lion King, eating fruit and all the animated stuff that they've been in. So Disney all over bananas and helping propagate all the information. What you'll see here is Timon and Pumbaa, like little Timon or Pumbaa, whichever one he is, trying to shush him up. Why would they be doing that? Seems a bit weird that while they're talking about bananas in the movie, he's like, shh. Now, we all know the history of bananas that you were taught in school. Here's a map. You've got Australia here, but we're told, and we've all learned that bananas originated in Papua New Guinea about 10,000 to 7,000 years ago, also in Indonesia, and then up higher in the Philippines is like the home base of bananas. That's where they came from. But what they don't really tell you, or they do tell you, but they expect you not to be able to connect the dots because they don't think you're smart enough, is that, well, you know, 7,000, 10,000 years ago, bananas are all over this area. They didn't get to Australia, which is just below. That's not far away at all, until the 1800s. So if bananas are 10,000 years old, why did it take until the 1800s for them to get to Australia? You know, thousands of years until they make it here. And then when they finally did make it, they didn't come from these areas. Your history books will tell you they came from Chinese traders. So how did bananas get from here up to China before they came down to Australia? And even weirder than that, around the same time, apparently, they made it to Europe up here for the first time. You can see Europe up there, Australia down the bottom, but they've come from China and all these regions. 10,000 years, but 1800s they hit Australia and they hit here. And also Alexander the Great, if you look at your history books, this is a known thing. The saying about Alexander the Great is he conquered all of the known world and then wept. And there's always a part of that quote that they leave out, wept for the existence of tropical beauty. And when they're talking about tropical beauty, what he discovered was bananas around 600, 700 BC. So 2,000 years before they got to Australia and Europe, Alexander the Great had bananas all in here where he conquered and fought Genghis Khan and fought Romans and fought Vikings. Didn't spread bananas anywhere. And to me, that just seems a bit strange. Alexander the Great had them, conquered the world, but nobody else saw them for another few thousand years. And I mean, the Romans were always taught how advanced and amazing the Roman Empire was. They built their roads, aqueducts, they had concrete. I mean, they even had indoor plumbing, but you know what they didn't have? no bananas. The Romans never saw a banana, so they're doing all this advanced stuff without a yellow banana in sight. I don't know about you, but that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And then the Vikings as well, they were pioneers of craft, and they pioneered international trade all over the world with their longboats, traveling all over the place, fighting and battling and pillaging and plundering, taking all these spoils from all over the world, all parts of the world, Africa and the Middle East and England and all these places with their advanced technology as well, being able to have shield walls and all of that around the same time as Rome and everybody else. But no bananas. You never see it in a movie about Vikings. They just didn't exist, apparently. But we know they existed because they tell us that it was 10,000, 7,000 years old, coupled with the fact that we're always told we're peeling bananas wrong. Now, bananas come with this stem at the top, which you can see here. This guy's trying to peel it, having a really hard time. And when you peel it this way, you'll see here, when you're peeling a banana, you take it off and you get all these stringy bits when you peel it. It's got a built-in handle, it's got a skin, but when you peel it off, you get all this stringiness on your bananas, which doesn't make a lot of sense at all. But then when you look at the way a monkey will peel a banana, they do it the other way around. Why don't we do it that way? They never teach you this. They always say, just grab the handle. Incidentally, bananas grow upside down because the top is actually the little nub at the bottom, and that's the end, as you can see, you should peel your banana from, because it's the way monkeys do it. But bananas grow upside down. Not only are we peeling them wrong, and there's questions about their history and how accurate that is, but also when bananas grow, apparently they just defy the laws of gravity and grow the other way up. And you can see here that banana is much less stringy. Given that we're told that all of this happened around 1800s, that bananas became popular and everybody started getting them, what else happened in the 1800s? Microscopes were invented. Around 1820, 1830, they became quite advanced. Interestingly, what do microscopes do? They let us see things at a microscopic level. What else happened? With microscopes came germ theory. There are these little microbes and little germs that can be parasitic and invade your central nervous system or your medulla oblongata and all these other parts of you. They can cause heart disease and diabetes and AIDS and everything else and whatever you can think of. Louis Pasteur led the charge on that. And then all of a sudden, around the same time, apparently bananas appeared all over the world with a built-in protective coating, just naturally occurring, protecting people and protecting the fruit or the food within from germs and bacteria. Quite convenient. The other thing that happened around 1800 is the first batteries were invented, giving portable electricity. And what's the main ingredient of electricity? Potassium. Where do we find potassium? In bananas. And if you don't believe that bananas contain potassium and generate electricity, just have a look at this. I found this
let's get
online.
Yeah. Wait. Oh, that's cleaner, I feel like.
So what you're looking at there, and I'll play it again,
Shall we try banana?
is they're running a guitar pedal, an electric guitar, through a banana.
Oh, that's
No other
cleaner,
power.
I feel like.
And you can hear him strumming a chord through a banana. Now, these are the bananas that you'll buy in the shop. We've all seen them. Yellow, nice fruit, and we can slice them up. Banana with the peel off, looking all nice. But have you ever seen a wild banana? Have a look at this. So this guy went overseas, found a secret plantation that he wasn't allowed to go into, and he's with a friend there, and he's found this that looks like a little banana, but then he peels it. It's only as big as his finger, but look at this. That's a wild banana. It's tiny, and look at the crap inside of it. That just looks, oh, he's put it in his mouth. That's gross. He's chewing that, but watch what happens. He's going to take it out of his mouth in a second. You can see it right here. He's having a munch. He takes it out of his mouth, but have a look. It's barely even changed. He's barely chewed it. Look, it's perfectly normal. Now that just can't be right. But this is what wild bananas actually look like. Look at this. These are bananas as found in the wild. And that is not at all the same as what you'll find in the supermarket. Full of seeds, barely any fruit in it. They look slimy and not at all appetizing. These ones are cut in half, and that looks like mold or some sort of bug or something living inside of it. That's wild bananas. These are also wild bananas. You've never seen a banana that looks like this. Would you eat that? Does that look right to you? That's what bananas actually look like. They are real bananas. So these are the ones you buy, but it just doesn't look right. And how do you get from the ones you buy or from wild bananas to the ones you buy? There's only one way. Got to be done in a laboratory. Now remember, 1800 we get the microscope. Bananas appear at the same time in that classic visage that we all know, with yellow skin, white fruit. But we've just seen that's not what wild bananas look like. And we've got footage here from the lab, and they're genetically engineering bananas to make them look that way, to make them more appealing. We all know about GMOs. We all know about stem cells. We all know about the research involved in that, creating vaccines and things like that. It's exactly the same thing. It's all just happening in a lab, and no one tells you this. Now, what I've got here is some leaked footage from a so-called banana plantation. But if you have a look at it, you've got all these trees with a nice big canopy as they're picking bananas out in the field. You can see that he's carrying one there. But if you pay attention to the top of the frame, you can't even really see the sky, can you? So they've got all these trucks, a nice wide path. These guys are in there chopping at trees. But watch what happens. They pick the banana, right? Look, they've broken the tree. He's got his bananas. And then he's hacking the tree to pieces, just destroying it. Wouldn't you leave it to grow? Wouldn't you want it to carry on so you can grow more bananas? No, they just destroy it completely and get rid of it. So you can see the damage there, still no sky, loading bananas onto this truck. What is actually going on here? So this is what they tell you a banana plantation looks like. We did have a little bit of sky up there, very suspect. We've got some more leaked footage. Where did those bananas actually come from? They came from here. Now, two guys shot this footage and it is leaked, but this is an abandoned lab facility and you can see what's going on up here. Pay attention to that and this area, right? So that's a drone shot of the lab and they're recording inside. They snuck in. That says combinatorial chemistry, right? And there's still equipment in this place. It's still there. You can see it right here. So these are like Bunsen burners and stuff for taking your petri dishes and warming things up and making things combine better. They got robotic equipment still sitting in this lab unused. But this is the interesting part. Look at this. Does that look familiar? That looks almost exactly like the plantation. You've still got baby wild bananas growing in this place. And I want to play that again. Look down the center and then look up here. You've still got plants growing around the sides and it looks like a greenhouse. Why would that be? So these are leftover trees that have grown, leftover banana trees, because we just saw the fruit, and I'll skip ahead to that in a minute. But look at the dark patch in the middle. That's the road that we just saw in the other video. And all of the trees are gone, and we saw them hacking them to pieces to get rid of them. Just skipping. Right, so here we are back in the greenhouse. And you can see that looks exactly the same as the trees we were just looking at. Scoot ahead a bit more to the fruit. There we go. It's really hard because this leak footage, there's not a lot of it there. So that chain and that cog, right? So what that's for, you turn that, you can see the other cog just there, just beside my head. Can you see that? So you turn this wheel around any way you need to, turn that, and what that does is opens up that roof. So where you saw there was a big open sky at the end of that leak footage, that's all they've done is opened up the roof of the glass house in their laboratory grown banana factory. So these are wild bananas that didn't get genetically modified the same way as all the others. And you can see they're real. He's touching them. It's a real thing. There you go. He's touching it. They're moving. Still attached to a banana tree. And when they finish growing, they'll turn into a big, huge bunch. As we all know, bananas release dopamine in the brain. If you're familiar with brain chemistry and the research into that science, the whole bunch of chemicals that make you happy, like oxytocin, which is the love chemical, serotonin, which calms you down, endorphins, which can help ease pain, and then dopamine, which is the reward chemical for the brain. Bananas are a huge source of not just potassium for electricity, but also dopamine for the brain. Why would they want us eating bananas if they release dopamine? Well, here's a comparison between bananas and heroin. So heroin also releases dopamine because it's a drug. It's highly addictive. It's a form of methamphetamine. And you can see here how much dopamine that releases into the system and how much the body accepts those signals. And here's bananas. Look how much more dopamine they release in your body. Every time you eat one, that's what you're doing to yourself. They're worse for you than heroin, but they don't tell you that information. They keep it under wraps because otherwise all of that lab information is going to come out. So bananas increase the amount of dopamine released in the brain. And the other thing they won't tell you, and we all know about DNA and how important that is to science, but humans share 60% of their DNA with bananas and vice versa. 60% of your DNA. So it's releasing mind-altering chemicals into your brain. They're modifying them in laboratories to take them from wild bananas to what you buy in shops. You've got SpaceX, Disney making jokes about them and making harmless. They're teaching you about them in school, but they don't tell you this at all. And the end result, this is more leaked research into bananas. There's nobody touching this thing. Look at him. He's just pointed to the letter C there. Can you see it? Look at this thing moving. And now it's pointing to the letter C. Now, I'm sure none of you have ever seen this before, but this is real footage. He's taken the thing off the banana now, and it's still moving. There's nothing touching it. If I get out of the way, look, there's nothing at the other end. And now he's just put a thing underneath a cup, and this banana is trying to figure out which one it's under. Now, I don't know about you, but this is pretty disturbing. But this is something you'll never, ever hear them talk about with bananas. This research is happening right now, and it's legit. This is real, but they don't want you to know about it. You've just got to look at this footage. And I know it's a bit disturbing, but look, he pats the banana, and it reacts like it's a pet. But that banana is sentient. That banana has consciousness. That banana is thinking and feeling and reacting to external stimulus. And I know none of you have ever seen anything like that before. So what's the point of all this? Why are we talking about it? Well, I'm going to tell you. So what you don't know about bananas, if at any point during that little presentation you thought to yourself, oh, I didn't know that, or maybe I should look into it, or is that really true? Congratulations. I just did to you what Flat Earth Dave has been doing to vulnerable people for nearly 20 years. Now, some of you probably realize reasonably quickly that a 5-second Google search can disprove a lot of what is in that presentation. And there's a reason for that. It's all made up. I just asked ChatGPT to generate the most ridiculous conspiracy theory it could think of. The interesting thing is that ChatGPT actually tried to keep things pretty factual until I told it I didn't care about facts, just make it up, and the wilder the better. The result is what you've just seen. So if you resisted the temptation to buy in, it all done. But a lot of people wouldn't. And they're the same sort of people that get sucked into flat earth, young earth creationism, moon landing denial, or just science denial in general. And that's what we're going to talk about today. In particular, we're going to focus on Flat Earth Dave, Dave Weiss, or Dearth. Dave Weiss, better known as Flat Earth Dave or Dearth, is a con artist who left a corporate job to push his flat earth nonsense for profit. Dearth makes money selling the Flat Earth Sun and Moon app through the Apple Store and Google Play stores. Now, the app doesn't work. MC Toon demonstrated this brilliantly while he was down in Antarctica.
Hey, Will, I got Flat Earth Dave's app up right now. It's broke. You want to come look at this? Sure. It's got the sun there.
Oh.
And we're over here. We're here.
Oh boy.
We're here. It's got the sun there. It's wrong, Dave.
Oh.
How embarrassing. Plus it has the moon closer.
I don't see a moon.
No moon, Dave. Dave's not here, man.
Let's pull. He needs to do the right thing and pull the app.
Yeah, pull the app, Dave. It's time. You're leaking people's data already. Pull the app.
The app costs $3 to get started, plus there's an additional subscription cost if you want to unlock all the features. And you definitely should not unlock all the features or even buy the app, because it's been proven this app has been leaking people's personally identifiable information for years, and Dave has done absolutely nothing to fix it. It's cost his own friends money, and he's going to be in big, big trouble if he doesn't pull his digit out very soon. You can find out more about that via MC Toon and his Conspiracy Toons channel. Dearth presents lies and misinformation as facts and truth. He likes to employ emotional manipulation, cherry-picked evidence, which he also manipulates to suit his argument, and it is all designed to make you doubt basic tenets of reality while he cashes in and basically picks your pocket. Even some of his own so-called friends have labeled him an absolute scammer, some of them having Bitcoin wallets emptied because of the problems with his app. For a number of years, Dearth has been all in on flat Earth, which is really funny because, as we all know, if the Earth were flat, Dave wouldn't have to lie to sell people on the idea. Dearth isn't exposing any kind of hidden truth or grand conspiracy. He's a grifter, he's a scammer, and he's cashing in on your dime. There is a ton we could cover about Dearth and really go to town picking apart his tactics and methods and everything else. But today we're just going to make a start. There will absolutely be more to come in the future. I don't know how long this video is going to be at the time of recording. If it's really long, stick with me. And if it's not, you're welcome. First things first, let's undo the Dave impression because I feel dirty. Now that that's fixed, we're going to focus on Dave's presentations today and how he delivers it. His modus operandi, as it were. He loves to deliver these things online or on any channel that will have him, basically. But if they're leaning towards conspiracy theories, that's his target audience. Vulnerable people who are open to suggestion. And he does this because Dearth is essentially a con man. You will find a wealth of information on the internet exposing con men and their tactics. So we're just going to touch on the surface for today. And again, we're going to cover Dearth a lot more on this channel. Before Dearth actually gets into his flat earth claims, he likes to try and be charming and ensure that there's some level of trust between him and the audience. This is the firm foundation for any con. I'm going to throw some clips in, but Dave loves to claim that he's a reformed globe believer who woke up to flat earth, which makes him seem relatable. He likes to establish a false sense of authority by claiming that he's done extensive research on the topic without any scientific background to speak of. He's also very, very quick on the trigger to dismiss mainstream science as government lies, ensuring the audience will only listen to him. Generally, very early on, Dave will dismiss anything to do with science and education as just being regurgitation of information and memorization of information. He doesn't want you thinking science is real or legit. Just trust him. Everybody else is lying to you.
Once again, so nice to meet you. So I guess my first question that I have for you is, what is the flat Earth theory, and who introduced you to flat Earth?
Well, what is the flat Earth theory? The flat Earth theory, it's not a theory. It's observations and scientific viewing of the Earth. The question that you really should be asking is, why do you believe the Earth is a globe when curvature's never been measured? We've only have, a story is boats going over the horizon, and we can easily explain that on a flat Earth. People have an idea, like when they think flat Earth, you Google flat Earth and you see a disc floating in space. Well, that's two false models. That's a false heliocentric model and a false flat Earth model. That's not what flat Earth is at all. And what got me into it, I went in kicking and screaming like everybody else. I didn't want anything to do with it. I thought it was the dumbest crap ever.
I don't know what the freak we're going to talk about today, Dave, but welcome to Straight Talk. How are you?
I'm doing great, and I just want you just remember this day and time, because your life will never be the same after this podcast.
I don't know. My brain hurts already.
It's a lot of work. But here's the thing. I got to tell you something. You are way smarter than they want you to believe. You have common sense. You have the ability to think, but they've tried to wean that out of you. In school, they never taught you to think. They taught you to memorize and regurgitate, right?
Yes.
And if a guy has a lab coat and a pocket protector and a degree, then you're like, oh my God, that's truth. And you score that as truth. I live in Connecticut. So in 10 minutes from now, if I say, where do I live? You would say Connecticut. And I would say, do you know that, or do you believe it?
He does all of this because he knows people are more inclined to trust somebody that they find relatable or someone who has once been in their shoes. It creates an us versus them mentality, making questioning him or questioning his presentation seem like a betrayal. And that ties in nicely to him manipulating distrust in any kind of institution, because it makes Flat Earth seem rebellious and empowering. It all feeds into the fact that Flat Earth is a cult. With the groundwork established, Dave can quickly move on to phase 2, the meat and potatoes of his presentation, seeding doubt and undermining science even further. Dave will cherry pick anomalies. He'll just trawl the internet and find anything that supports his predetermined conclusion in an effort to convince his audience that something is up.
Right? And this is a picture of Saturn. This is a
Saturn,
photograph
that's
of
Saturn,
Saturn.
yeah.
Yeah, but they have no photos of Earth.
What
They
do you
admit-
mean?
They admit they have no photos of Earth, but as you ever see Jupiter in
Yeah.
the sky? Right?
I mean,
Yeah, well,
yeah.
you probably have because
yeah,
it's the brightest.
but now I don't know
it's
if I have.
No, you have. It's
Okay.
the lightest. It's the brightest
Mhm.
luminary up there.
Yeah.
It looks like a star, but it's super bright. And the question you have to ask is: they tell us that Jupiter is a burning ball of not a burning ball. It's gas. It's a gas
Right, right.
planet,
Right.
right? Dusty, dirty gas planet, right? And because we're programmed to believe that these are planets, I'm sorry to do this to you because it was done to me. It's actually a meadow with ducks. Okay. Okay. Right. But I'm just showing you when NASA shows you something, you don't know what it is.
Anything that Dave can misrepresent, he absolutely will.
This is the latest picture of Pluto. Look at the shape of this area on Pluto. Is that just pareidolia? Is that pareidolia? Or am I nuts?
Stop it.
And the name Pluto the dog was named the same year that Pluto is discovered.
Stop it.
Right? But actually, that's not the latest photo. This is now the latest photo. Look at this. What is that? And then I think this is one of the moons of Jupiter, or I forget. But it's got Mickey Mouse.
Right.
I mean that one you can say, okay, that's just a coincidence, all right? But there's just too many connections with Disney.
And then one of the biggest weapons in any con man's arsenal, gish galloping. It's a great term and it's quite fun to say, but that doesn't make it any less nefarious. Dave will rapidly throw out misleading claims in a very, very short space of time, overwhelming the audience with information. And while he's doing so, he'll present all of his fake gotcha questions like, why can't we feel the Earth spinning? Or why do airline pilots never adjust for curvature?
So that balloon should land like 3,000 miles out to the west, but it landed 80 miles to the east. So it went up, it sped up because when you go high, I always wondered, why do planes fly so high? Because when they're higher, they have to make a bigger circle. They have to travel farther, right? Because if you're flying close to the Earth, you have a smaller circle. If you're up here,
Right,
you got to
right.
go farther, right?
Right.
Well, they go up high because they can go faster and it's a straight line. There is no Earth curvature. So, this sun right here, let's say you were born today, not
Yeah.
even yesterday, you're born today, all right? And I would say, is this light right above this part of the land that's got a hot spot on it? It's a little darker over here, so it's kind of close to there. Or is it 93 million miles away?
Right.
Again, and I can't stress this enough, everything Dave says is easily debunked with a quick Google search. You don't need me or any other debunker to do it for you. If you actually do your own research, you'll get all of the answers and know that Dave is full of crap. Quick example, Dave loves to be incredulous about Earth spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. It does sound really, really fast, and he makes it seem utterly ridiculous. But the part he leaves out is that Earth is freaking massive, and 1,000 miles an hour equates to one rotation every 24 hours. That's how long a day is. That's how long it takes. Imagine holding a tennis ball in your hand and putting a little line on it so you know where you started. And then take 24 hours to turn it around 360 degrees until you see the line again. That's how fast the Earth is spinning. And when he's doing all this, Dirth isn't even talking to the entire audience. He knows who he's after. The people he's talking to are A, lazy and unmotivated. B, vulnerable. They're down on their luck. They're upset. They're missing something in their lives. He's also very much relying on the fact that someone or someones in that audience are not scientifically literate enough to spot his lies. Now, by this stage of the presentation, Dave should be in full flight, and he's probably said something that's got someone in the audience going, yeah, that doesn't make sense. And now Dave can unveil the illusion of evidence, unleashing all of his tricks and manipulations. Now, at this stage, I could just keep talking, but other people like Globey McGlowface, MC2, and many others have for years been demonstrating how dishonest and how disingenuous Dearth is at this point. So I'm just going to run some clips for you where we'll see Dearth make his claims and then how easily it's debunked.
There's a lot of funky stuff going on.
Who
here.
are the founders of NASA? We got Ronald Hubbard, right? Ron Hubbard, founder of Scientology. Walt Disney, a cartoon producer. Werner von Braun, a actual Nazi. Okay. Jack Parsons, right? And an occultist, and Aleister Crowley, the most wicked man in the world. These are the founders of NASA.
Are you serious?
Yes.
I don't think anyone knows this. The
Everyone knows
founders
this. Not everyone. A lot of people know this. Those are the
are
founders.
the general. I can guarantee you, my buddies have no clue.
So the reason why your buddies have no clue is because none of that is true. Like I said, it was founded in 1958. Congress would be the ones probably to get the most credit for founding it. But then to go through each of those, like right on the fly there, you don't know that, right? That's not your thing. You're good at comedy. You're not good at knowing who founded NASA.
Right.
L. Ron Hubbard, he founded Scientology about 1954. He didn't have anything
Right.
with NASA. And he was really
So he had zero involvement. You're saying he had absolutely no involvement with NASA.
nothing.
Yep, I see that. I
Disney-
see that. Now this is Google.
These links.
This
here,
is off of Google
these links
or
go
like
to- these are just the Wikipedia articles, but search up however you want. These people had no involvement with NASA.
I feel like I saw something with Walt Disney though.
So yeah,
where
well,
like he either helped.
yeah, here
or-
Disney in 1955 did a video with Werner von Braun. So this was 3 years before NASA was founded. So, but it wasn't involving NASA. It was just something that he did to show some animations for Werner.
To the engineer, spaceflight poses two problems. The first is, of course, to build a rocket ship. The second, and no less important, is to prepare and train the men who are to fly the future rocket ships and to provide suitable working conditions that will enable them to survive in space. To help show you what is being done to solve these problems, we have called upon one of the foremost exponents of space travel, Dr. Werner von Braun, who is at present the chief of the Guided Missile Division of the Army's Rocket Center at Redstone Arsenal. He was also overall director of the development of the original V-2 rocket.
Now here's a model of my design for a four-stage orbital rocket ship.
Right. So
Now Werner was a Nazi, correct?
he was, and then he moved to the United States, and in 1946 became a devout Christian in Texas, repented from all of his Nazi things. And it's ironic that Dave talks about that because Dave has been in videos with Eric Dubay, who is literally a big fan of the Mustache Guy. For Dave to bring that up is really interesting because Eric Dubay is one of he's the main promoter, the most well-known early YouTuber promoting Flat Earth, and he's overtly in favor of the Mustache Guy. I don't like to say it. YouTube doesn't.
No. I understand that too. That's another whole subject.
Yeah.
Now the only thing with listen, I get this part. Like me personally, I don't buy everything on Google or Wikipedia because you can go on Wikipedia and look at me and they'll lie about how much I make. You know, Jim Brewer's worth it. I'm like, what are you talking about?
You're
I
worth
make
more than
anything
that.
close to anything.
Right.
You know what I mean? So Wikipedia, anyone could go in there and write anything. And I'm not saying none of this is fact or whatever, but this doesn't do a whole lot for me only because I don't believe that world anymore because I've seen them lie.
Yeah. Well, these things you can confirm elsewhere. And it's super easy because Jack Parsons did work for JPL, which did eventually get rolled into NASA, the Jet Propulsion Lab, but he was fired from it in 1944 because of his occult beliefs. which you'd probably have trouble with today. But in 1944, they kicked him out because of his extracurricular.
What was his occult beliefs?
So
do you know?
he was friends with Aleister Crowley. He did some weird ritualistic things. He was off into some strange stuff in the stuff that showed up in the 60s. He was doing that in the 40s and 30s, right? So
Jack Parsons, what you're saying, according to this, had nothing to do with NASA.
Well, he was dead in 1952. NASA was founded 6 years later.
Gotcha.
So Dave claimed
yeah.
There's no denying this. He was dead in 1952, and Dave claimed that a dead person founded NASA 6 years after they died.
Gotcha.
I mean, I don't know what you'd call that. I'd call that a lie. Same thing. Aleister Crowley died in 1947, 11 years before NASA was founded. How could Aleister have founded NASA? He couldn't. So Dave either just is like, I don't give a damn. I'm going to lie to everybody so I can sell my app. Or he's just not caring one bit about being truthful.
And we'll watch the sun going away. It's going away. It's not going down. Go watch my Flat Earth Kitchen video if you think that's going down. And it's thousands of feet above his eye level. But it looks like it's at his eye level. The sun will go away, just following that perspective grid, and it's going beyond the mountain. So now...
Okay, so two lies. He says this wasn't going down. This sun in his model here wasn't going down. It was just going away. And the second thing he says was it's following the perspective grid. So if it was following the perspective grid, it would have followed the perspective grid. It would have followed this line right here all the way out to this point here and converged where all these lines appear to be converging here, which is like right here. Instead, he sets the sun. Look how low it is. It's now lined up with the bottom line here. It didn't follow the grid, and we can prove it. I don't know if you caught it while I showed the video the first time, but watch it. The sun here is between those two lines, right? Watch when it gets to about here, it just drops down. He just lowers it. Watch this. Should be going straight, 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 and then it just goes down. Should be going out to the distance here, but when it gets here, it just goes straight down. He edited this. He made this model to when it gets to this point, it just goes straight down and sets. He did that because if he did just send this sun out into the distance due to perspective, it would have just got smaller and smaller and smaller and gone out this way towards the blue and got smaller and smaller and smaller. But instead, he had to force the globe observation into his flat Earth model here. It would have looked like this if he had done it right. Thanks to Mesosphere. Go follow him if you're not. He made this model. This is what David Weiss was trying to do. And if you take this model and send it away, just send the sun away straight and lose it due to perspective, A, it crosses over that mountain, but B, it just gets smaller and smaller and smaller. Doesn't ever go downward as David Weiss was showing. So check out how big the sun would be, and then it would get small and small and small as it got further away. Look what David Weiss did, because he also modeled that. This is what David Weiss did. Watch this. Put the sun up here, and then when it got to a certain point, it just bounced and went down. That's what he did right there. He had put a little arc in there and drop the sun straight down like that.
And we'll watch the sun going away. It's going away. It's not going down.
This is a really, really important phase for Dave. Everything hinges on the success of phase 3 of his presentation because people will trust their eyes over complex explanations. They don't want to listen. They want pretty visuals. They want infographic. They want everything easily digestible. Never mind the fact that, as I've said and will keep saying, your eyes are a terrible scientific instrument. They suck. It's kind of ironic, but Dave relies on intuitive thinking, which often contradicts reality. For example, gravity feels like a downward force, right? But it's actually mass attracting mass. When Dave talks about it, they say it's mass attracting mass. That's ridiculous. It's just pushing everything down, and it's just a theory anyway. It's all made up. The audience wants to believe that they're smarter than scientists, and that's what Dearth is trying to deliver, a sense of superiority, secret knowledge, and an inroad into the cult of flat Earth. Now, phase 4, it's actually scattered throughout the whole presentation because Dave doesn't just argue the facts. He plays on emotion. It's emotional manipulation, and it's designed to help hook the audience. It is a classic trait of con men.
Nothing I say today is going to be out of your ability to understand.
Right.
This is the most complicated
Oh.
thing I said, and you can handle this. You are not. Here's the thing: they make it so complicated. People go, "I don't have a degree. Yeah, that guy's smart. He's got a degree. He memorized and regurgitated everything, so he's smarter than me." Right? You're not stupid. It's
no.
stupid. That's why you can't figure it
I've
out.
I've never been impressed by that anyway.
Yes, right,
you know?
right.
Yeah. That's fascinating.
Dave will flatter his audience. They're not dumb. They're not stupid. It's the concepts that they don't understand. It's the science that's dumb. It's the globe that's dumb, not those people. The audience are intelligent. Everything else doesn't make sense. That goes hand in hand with fear tactics. NASA is hiding flat Earth. NASA is hiding God. They are out to get everybody. There's more lands, there's more resources, but they don't want you to have it. They're keeping everything from you. Nothing that has ever gone wrong in your life is your fault. Flat Earth has all of the answers and they have all the accountability. If you don't believe Earth, then you're indoctrinated. You are in the cult of what we call normalcy. Flat Earth is where you want to be, not with all the sheep. And this is why, if you stop and think about it, it is crystal clear that Flat Earth is a cult. All cults work in exactly the same fashion. Flattery, fear, and isolation. People love feeling like they're part of a special club or an exclusive club. Fear keeps them from questioning the leaders of that club. Just look at what happens to anybody who has left Flat Earth over the years. Most recently, Melodome and Jeranism have copped it from all over the Flat Earth community. And finally, we arrive at phase 5, the end game for Dearth, or the real end game. It's not about Flat Earth. It's not about conspiracy. It's not about helping people or waking them up. It's about money. Dave pretty much will always end his presentation the same way, flogging his app.
FlatEarthDave.com. The app is amazing. Check it out. It's $3 one-time purchase. You get all the information. You'll be able to have the frequently asked questions. There's book section on it. I mean, the book section is amazing. There's a whole shopping area. There's a homeschool section. There's featured other content creators. There's a biblical section, and then the Old World section. Don't forget Old World Order. It's on the app, and you can also find it on my website. Make sure you watch that by Sean Hibbler.
And that's $3, only $3, you know,
$3.
And I homeschool my daughter. So you got a homeschool section. There we go.
How old is your daughter? FlatEarthDave.com. And then listen.
Who knows that? All right, bet.
So hold
I
on.
will download that app. Just
Hold
make
on.
sure
The app's $3. Tell David if anyone that gets the app, there's a subscription if you want to use some of the higher features on the app, which you don't need, but I'll give it to you guys for free. Anyone that downloads the app gets it for free. Okay? I'll give you guys a code to activate it. But here, this is stuff that's being hidden from you. The moon nonsense. The rockets are balloons. Blow your mind. Nobody died in the Challenger accident. Nobody died. So just start watching some of those. Think for yourself. Don't believe anybody. Verify everything.
That is always the most honest, accurate part of Dave's presentation. Don't listen to a word he says. But it's not just his app. Of course, Dave sells his app. He sells books. He also sells merchandise. Dave charges for speaking gigs and consultations and delivering his presentations at conferences and everything else, traveling all over the United States and potentially overseas. And he pushes other grifters' products. Have a look at this one, for example.
And people just want to believe it. Hey, everybody, a quick message that I'd like to share with all of you. Our lives are filled with toxins in our air, food, and even in the information we're taught. Avoiding them all is impossible, but helping your body detox doesn't have to be complicated. That's where Masterpiece comes in. Just 5 drops under your tongue twice a day, and that's it. Super easy, super simple, and it doesn't even taste bad. I've tried countless supplements, and while generally I'm pretty healthy, I didn't really feel much of an effect. But with Masterpiece, it delivered noticeable benefits. Check out the podcast I did with Terry from Masterpiece, linked below this video, or you can find links directly to Masterpiece on my website, FlatEarthDave.com, or in the shopping section on the app. The key to health is to detoxify. Now back to the show.
Don't trust science. They're all lying to you. They're trying to destroy you and bring down the world. What you should do instead is definitely buy this gunk. Put it into your body, even though it was obviously brewed in a bathtub in the backwoods for people with no teeth and bad hair. The money's important, but evangelism is also important. Once people have invested time, energy, and money into this belief or into this cult, they don't want to admit they were scammed, and they definitely don't want to face the same kind of consequences that other people have when they've left. Just look at Ranty or what Melodome and Jeranism are going through right now. It's not great. It's not fun. And the people in the cult, Dearth's audience or his followers, will defend him because they see him as a leader. Dearth is basically the flat earth equivalent of David Koresh. He needs to inspire that evangelism. Many flat earthers will talk about it and recruit others, and that spreads Dearth's influence for free. And once that influence has spread, he can then flog his app and more appearances and more merchandise. So what we wind up with is a situation where we have flat earth down here at the bottom, and then we have the people who are bringing more people into flat earth, and then the next level up are the people that Dave trusts and will talk to, and then at the top we've got Dave himself profiting off all of them. And if we look at that closely, it kind of makes a shape like this. Might call it a triangle, or maybe some kind of pyramid. I do have a couple of questions for Dave, though. Probably the most burning one, besides of when are you going to fix your app, Dave, would be if you're speaking truth and sharing all this secret knowledge with everybody, can you please explain why the truth requires a subscription? Dearth, or Flat Earth Dave, or Dave Weiss, or whatever the hell you want to call him, maybe a potato, is not a truth seeker. He's a salesman and a con man, and he's running a scam. As we've just seen, he follows the basics of the classic con artist playbook. He builds trust by pretending to be an authority. He creates doubt by overwhelming people with misleading claims. He misleads with fake evidence using visuals and wordplay to fool the uninformed. He manipulates emotions and makes people feel special just for believing. And then he cashes in. He profits off an audience that can't admit that they were tricked. And once again, just think back to the start of this video. If any of that gave you pause or made you think that maybe some of it might be true, you are susceptible to these tactics and you need to be on guard. Most importantly, you need to stay away from conspiracy theories and you need to stay the hell away from people like Dearth. We're going to talk about this more on the channel moving forward because I think it's really, really important that people are on guard against this kind of crap. But for now, until next time, I shall see you next time. Be good, and if you can't be good, don't get caught. Unless your name is Dave Weiss, in which case, please, absolutely get caught. Bye!